Welcome to the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. Are you over 40 and tired of struggling with your weight? Do you feel like you're constantly starting over with your nutrition and fitness? I'm Lil, a certified nutrition coach and former registered nurse, and I too have been there. At the age of 44, I decided I was done with being stuck in the vicious diet cycle. I became a nutrition coach and created the Feel Your Best Formula for women who are ready to do things differently. If you're ready to build a better relationship with food, get your energy back, build muscle, lose fat, and keep it off for good, then you're in the right place. I'm so glad you're here. Now let's build your formula for feeling your best. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. I am Lil. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Why? Because we are going to talk about realistic strategies for helping you boost your energy in the next 14 days. And I know this is something that you think about, it's something that you struggle with, because every time someone fills out my form to learn more about coaching, they talk about two things. Number one, I'm gaining weight. I don't know why. I want to stop it. I want to turn it around. Please help me lose weight. Number two, I want my energy back. I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I don't have energy for workouts. These are all very common things that I hear. And yes, we absolutely talk about energy, on other episodes, but today we are specifically going to focus on this. And I'm going to give you actual action steps that you could start as quickly as today so that you can start boosting your energy in just 14 days with lifestyle changes. And, coffee, energy drinks, matcha, like there's so much out there in terms of, supplements or whatever that can give you a quick boost of energy. But I think we've all been there, done that. We all enjoy a cup of coffee or a pre-workout or something like that. And when you are truly fatigued and your energy levels are low and you know what it's like to wake up each day and, kind of feel excited to start the day and not wish that you had to stay in bed for hours, not wish that you could have hours more sleep, that is just a different way of living versus every day just feeling like you're trying to get through the day and you're using that coffee or that Diet Coke to help you get through the day. And I'm speaking from experience. I've had those times in my life where I was relying on things like that to get me through the day rather than actually looking in the mirror and saying, how am I being part of the problem? What can I change? What lifestyle changes can I make? And sometimes when you're in that space, you're not ready to hear it. You're not ready to do it. But I hope that you hear what I have to say today, and at least one of these tips kind of, is like a little light bulb moment for you, and you think, oh my gosh, that is something that I can do. And I'm not just talking about physical energy. When we talk about these strategies, I am going into the mental and the mindset part of it, because the mental energy, the mindset, the energy that creates in our life, in my opinion, is just as important as the physical energy and, feeling like, oh, I want to do a workout, but I can't. And most likely it's a combination of both of these things that are making you feel fatigued. And, everyone says they want motivation, excuse me. And it's not really about having motivation. It's about having discipline and making a decision to do something. But if you're struggling with following through on actually taking action, it's usually fatigue and, this actual physical and mental barrier of fatigue that is stopping you from doing what you say you want to do. So anytime I'm talking to you on here, I am also talking to myself, to older versions of myself. I have struggled with these things just like you do. And I'm here to say that you can make change. It's not going to be all at once. It often starts with baby steps, but having the mindset of let me just try something, see how it works is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself. Whereas if you're having a victim mentality and just feeling like, oh, there's nothing I can do, this is just how life is, whatever, well, then nothing is going to change. So starting off, before I even go into these strategies, I just hope that you have an open mind and you can think to yourself, you know what? Let me just try this and see how it works. Because some of the things I talk about here are going to be hard, but some of the hardest things that you do in your life, when you do them when you intentionally do hard things, this is a lesson I've learned in my life. When you intentionally do hard things, it has such a bigger payoff than when hard things are forced upon you and you have to find your way out of it. And choosing to do hard things so that you can have the outcome that you want is so empowering, and it helps build your confidence, and it gives you a sense of control that you wouldn't really have otherwise, because you are the one deciding, I am going to do this hard thing. All right, so let's dive in. Let's talk about these actual strategies. We're going to start off, of course, I'm a nutrition coach. We're going to start with nutrition. And if your nutrition is not right, then guess what? Your body is going to struggle. The number one thing I learned when I started fueling my body properly in eating the appropriate amount of calories and the appropriate amount of protein and just having an understanding of what a truly balanced diet looked like, the very first thing I noticed was an increase in my energy. And this is the number one thing that my clients report to me. Obviously, they are not losing 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks of working with me, but in their check-ins, they'll say, I can't believe how much energy I have. I actually woke up today and did my workout and had the energy to do my workout. And it feels so good. And that is such a positive change, because when your energy is low, then that can have a ripple effect on your just overall mood. And like I said, motivation. Having energy is very self-motivating. And so many diets out there are restricting your calories, cutting out food groups, depriving you of nutrients. And when you start looking at your nutrition as the right way to nourish your body and give your body what it needs and make it easier for your body to perform those functions that it needs to perform on a daily basis, then you start looking at food differently. I look at food now as, you know what? Yes, it's giving me energy. And also, I want to be making sure that I'm eating fruits, veggies, healthy fats, and getting all these micronutrients that my body needs. I don't look at food anymore with just that black and white thought of, is it going to make me fat or is it going to make me skinny? Because I think that is how we look at food a lot of times. And that's what diet culture does to us. We stop seeing food for all of the amazing benefits that it has. I mean, there's a reason we need food to exist. There's a reason all living creatures need nourishment and energy, right? It's so that we can exist and survive and thrive. And somehow, especially as women, we are taught that food is there to give us the body we want or give us the body that we don't want. And there is so much more to it. And when you're eating the right amount of calories, and again, this is going to be individualized. If you have a lot of excess body fat and your body is probably going to thrive and have more energy losing some of that body fat, then that you might need to have your calories in a place where it's helping you lose that body fat, and you are going to have good energy because you have a lot of fat is stored energy. So you have a lot of energy that needs to be burned off, right? And then if you're someone who's constantly chasing those last 5 to 10 pounds, I hate to tell you, that's a waste of your time. Stop doing it. Start eating the right amount of calories to fuel your body correctly, your maintenance calories, and you are going to have better energy for your workouts. You're going to be able to push harder in your workouts. You're going to be able to build muscle better. You're going to be giving your body that protein that it needs. But if your nutrition is not right, if you are skipping breakfast, only having coffee for breakfast, having an energy bar for lunch and then eating a regular dinner. If you're eating like it's 1985, it's time to stop that. The days of starving ourselves and being weird about food is over, and your energy is always going to suffer. And of course, we can get into the nitty gritty. Yes, you should be having some carbs before you work out and then having some carbs and protein after you work out. You can get into the nitty gritty with that. But overall, the biggest bang for your buck is going to be just eating the right amount of calories for what your body needs right now, where you are in life. And again, that's going to look different for everyone. You can check my macro calculator. That's always in the episode details, a straight link to my macro calculator, so you can get a general idea of what I'm talking about here. And you're probably going to be shocked because many of you probably do need to be eating more than 2,000 calories per day. Let's move on. Sleep. You had to know I was going to talk about sleep here. And we do so much to sabotage our sleep as adults because, again, we're just trying to get through the day. So we're doing things like drinking coffee too late in the day and staying up too late at night, binging on Netflix and stuff like that. But it is so important because sleep is where the magic happens. It's when your body takes that time to build muscle. It's giving your body the rest that it needs. When you're trying to lose fat, it's actually helping that process by getting the right amount of sleep and letting your body relax. So having better sleep hygiene is really important. I totally understand myself. I'm in that perimenopausal phase of life, and sleep is affected by that. But you know what? It's not every day. So I just do my best to create a good environment for sleep, good habits around sleep, going to bed at a reasonable time, waking up at a time that allowed me to get a good 7.5 hours to 8 hours sleep the night before, and just kind of being an adult about it. I feel like sometimes we revert to being a toddler when it comes to bed, and we resist, and then you just end up in a vicious cycle. All right. Number 3 is where we're kind of getting into that mental mindset piece of it. But decreasing decision fatigue is such an important strategy for overall energy. And I noticed in my life when I stopped having to make so many little decisions every day that it just lifted this weight. And I save my decision making for the important things. And what do I mean by this? So decision fatigue is, you wake up in the morning. What am I going to eat for breakfast? What workout am I going to do? What clothes am I going to wear? What is on the schedule for today? And then you go on with your day, and you get what I'm saying, right? Your day is just filled with probably thousands of little decisions like that. So once I realized that by predetermining my decisions on the things that I could by creating routines and kind of rules for myself, it just made life so much easier. I know that I can just wake up and have my yogurt parfait, my high protein yogurt parfait for breakfast. I have my whole routine of, I have my pre-workout and I have my pre-workout snack. And maybe it isn't the exact same thing each day, but if I do make a decision, it's like, am I having a banana or am I having a Rice Krispie treat? It's not, I have no idea what I'm doing. What the heck am I going to have? And then having my morning routine. I know that I'm emptying my dishwasher. I'm, feeding the dog. I'm looking at my schedule. There isn't any decision making that happens in my life. Probably, I don't know, until later in the afternoon. I just don't have to make a lot of decisions. I know exactly what I'm working on for work. And probably the only times I really have to make decisions in the moment is if my kids or a client or, someone is asking me to make a decision, then I make a decision. But if you are just living your life somewhat chaotically, without having a plan, without knowing what works for you, what doesn't work for you, then that creates mental fatigue by constantly having to make decisions of what are you going to get to eat at the lunch cafeteria? What are you going to order for takeout? If I go to Chipotle, I know exactly what I'm getting every single time I go. I don't have to think about it. And I know that what I'm getting is not only I'm getting it because I enjoy it, but because it is the food that helps me reach my goals and gives me the macro and micronutrients that my body wants. So stopping having to make constant decisions is a game changer. Look for places in your life where you can create systems where you have already predetermined what that answer is going to be. And this also is part of what I talk about on here with just deciding who you are. I don't come home at night and have to decide for myself, am I going to have a glass of wine with dinner or not? I just know that I am not the person that has a glass of wine with dinner. Now, if I go out to a really nice restaurant and can have an opportunity to have a really nice glass of wine, am I going to have a glass of wine? Probably. But I don't have to make that decision on a daily basis, and it helps me live healthier and happier. Okay, number 4. Having realistic expectations for yourself and your energy levels as you're going through times of stress, illness, or even your hormonal cycle, because we always have ups and downs, and you can expect that, the week before your period comes, you are probably going to feel a little bit more lethargic, not as motivated to push hard in your workouts. I know that literally my weights feel heavier during those few days of the month. I will go and pick up a 12-pound weight, and in my mind, it feels like it's 20 pounds. And I've just learned to recognize that, okay, there's just a couple days where I feel like this. It's okay to go lighter on my weights and just make those adjustments. And it can be really self-defeating if we're always trying to go, 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 go. And, maybe if you're training for a marathon, or you have this really specific goal in mind, and your energy levels just don't match what you're supposed to be doing. Again, because you probably have some sort of cookie cutter plan that wasn't actually made for you. That's how those training plans are, unless you're working with a coach who can help you make adjustments and appropriately gauge what is the correct activity that you should be doing based on these other factors in your life. Then it can make you feel bad about yourself. Oh, I can't keep up with this plan. I'm following this workout calendar and I have a cold, and you get into the all or nothing mentality of, well, I'm not going to do anything. And really learning how to adjust and make decisions based on what your actual energy expectations are at any point in time. Because if you are sick or dealing with excess stress, maybe with your job or a family member, and you know that it's a temporary thing, then you can just give yourself a little break. My husband had shingles recently, and oh my gosh, it zapped his energy, and he loves working out. But it was a good 4 weeks. He was just walking and trying to do what he could, but it was a good 4 weeks before he started working out again. And then he still felt fatigued after, he was trying to get back to his normal schedule. And we realized, you just got to take it one step at a time. And I know that we always want to be moving forward, and especially if you're setting new goals and trying to step into this new version of yourself, it can feel, like you're going backwards if you are not really pushing yourself and doing all these new things that you think you wanted to do. But always remember where you're coming from. And that's really helped me. I think, I came from a place where I didn't work out at all. I did not eat intentionally. My habits were just not great for decades. And then my habits became disordered and overly obsessive about being healthy and losing weight and stuff like that. And then I just say to myself, okay, you're not feeling well. Let's just, meet yourself where you're at. That really is the best advice. Meet yourself where you're at. And it's always that struggle of, when should I push myself and when should I give myself a break? And I think you just have to look at the big picture and realize if you are doing the things that are challenging you, pushing you, helping you build muscle by really going strong in your workouts, then over time, that's going to move you in the right direction if that's what you're doing most of the time. And you just might have these periods in life where your energy level is lower, and that's okay to kind of take a step back, give yourself a break. You just don't want that to become what you're doing most of the time. So I really just wanted to hit on this because I think that we can get down on ourselves, especially when we're starting new habits, and having realistic expectations is going to help you approach your new habits honestly, and it's going to help you enjoy the experience. And I don't want you feeling like a failure. And sometimes that can happen when we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves. Okay, number 5. This is the one that is probably the hardest. And it also is the one that maybe you haven't thought of how it actually affects your energy. But there are people in this world that I think of as energy vampires. And you'll know what I'm talking about when I say, you spend time with them. Maybe you go to lunch, or you're at a holiday, or whatever, you're at work. You probably have a lot of energy vampires at work, and you exchange energy with them, you talk to them, you collaborate with them. And every time you're with them, you walk away just feeling like, oh my God, that is exhausting. I know that some energy vampires give me an actual headache. I will feel, in my temples, this person has sucked the life out of me. And this is, there's so many different ways that people can be energy vampires, but having that friend that is always taking, you're always helping, and they're never reciprocating. Same thing with work people. It could be, unfortunately, it could be your partner. It could be a parent. It could be a sibling. And it can be really, really, really difficult to eliminate certain types of energy vampires in your life or reduce your interaction with them. But energy is an exchange. And it is one of those things where once you realize how good you feel by not exchanging energy with certain people and consciously making choices to remove yourself from situations where you're going to feel a certain way, I am telling you, it has such a positive ripple effect on your physical energy levels, your mood, your mental health, all of those things. And I think a lot of times we can feel obligated to help that friend that always has some drama going on in her life, especially, I'm an eldest daughter, a nurse. My personality is that personality of wanting to help people. And I find myself often being someone that people ask for help, which I am more than happy to do. But I personally have found myself at different times in my life of being that person whose energy is being sucked away by an energy vampire. And I've learned how to put up boundaries around that and regulate it and make sure that I don't get stuck in that place. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And we can't please all the people all the time. And we do have to prioritize ourselves and those that are closest to us. And if other people's energy are messing with your mojo, then it's time to say goodbye to them. All right, now I could go on because there are so many lifestyle changes that you can make to improve your energy, but these were really top of mind. This is what I see in my clients. Just super relatable, and also things you can take action on. So let me just review. Nutrition, so important. Check out my macro calculator in the episode details just to get an idea of what I'm talking about there. Sleep, put on your big girl pants and start prioritizing sleep. Decreasing that decision fatigue with systems and routines. And having realistic expectations for yourself and cutting the energy vampires out of your life. All right, I hope these tips spoke to you. It's time to take action and just see how you feel in 14 days by making a few simple changes. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast. If you enjoyed the information and discussion we had here today, then make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you're serious about making changes with your nutrition and fitness, then you definitely want to join my weekly newsletter list as well. You can find the link below and more information in the episode details. That's all for today, and we will see you back here next week for a new episode of the Feel Your Best Formula podcast.